All right, so thank you for coming by, Tori Magoo, 44. Today is, let's see, it's the 6th of March. We're in March,
I
St.
know, how
Patty's month.
exciting, huh?
And I have the pleasure of being with Mr. Larry Brennan.
Hello,
Very
folks.
exciting. Yeah. And today, Larry and I went on my little tour where we went around Hollywood. And that was interesting. We went down L. Ron Hubbard Way.
Oh, it was fun. I was completely banished as soon as they saw me walking down the street with my arm around Tori. It was like, I mean, they don't know me from Adam right off the bat, the people that work there. But as soon as they saw me walking down the street with Tori, arm in arm, they were like, "Whoa, who's that?" And right over on the bike, security, so on and so forth. Tori is such a flag. So it was fun. So what a great way to be banished is with my good friend Tori.
Well, the funny part of it is they know him way more than they know me. And I'm going to ask them, why did they know you? Because it's one of those things. He was in way, way up at the top over OSA. And even, were you over Geo? The Geo?
Well, OSA took the Geo when the Geo was taken over. It was taken over by the CMO.
Right.
And then we're jumping a little bit here.
Oh,
I was in the Geo when it was taken over by CMO, and then I was in Special Unit when we were running the Geo and then OSA.
Okay, and what is Special Unit? Tell them.
Well, there were a couple of kinds of Special Units, but the Special Unit I'm talking about is there was an all-clear unit to give background to it that David Miscavige was in, that its alleged purpose was to make it all clear for LRH to come out of hiding because of all the suits and stuff against him.
Kinky.
The all-clear unit divided into two groups, Special Project and Special Unit. Special Project became known as Author Services.
Oh.
And that's where David Miscavige and Terry Gamboa, Norman Starkey, Lyman Spurlock, folks like that went.
Okay.
Special Unit became part of the Church of Scientology International after we corporately launched that in December of 1981. And Special Unit was like Steve Marlowe and then myself. Marty Rathman was Special Unit Litigation, and Jeff Chevelle was Special Unit Intel, and Rudy Loewen and Heber were in Special Unit PR, and I was Special Unit Corporate before I became Special Unit IC. But anyway, that part took over the running of the main external affairs things in those areas,
right, as
well as the running of the GO, which was being turned into OSA, name-wise. It's
so awesome to hear the background from me, because even me, having been in 30 years, some of these things I didn't know. You know, you don't know it when you're in the Scientology Truman Show. They don't tell you. We were laughing about it today because the security guard that's like 24 years old who was following us around has probably never even heard of Special Units. Now, Andy was out there at the HGV, and he said he did know of Special Units.
Oh, there you go.
But, you know, most people now, the young kids, they don't even know what it is. They don't know how the whole history was. And I'm going to put some links in the notes for everybody because Larry's done some fabulous interviews, affidavits, things like that you can pull up and listen to and really get to a much fuller picture of it. But I just wanted to introduce him as my friend. We're here today. We're just having a good time. Mm-hmm. We're going to go out and grab something to eat. And is there anything else that I should ask you?
Well, you were asking earlier about the difference between the GO and Special Unit.
Right.
And the bottom line with that...
the GO and OSA.
The GO and OSA, exactly. Right. The bottom line with that is that David Miscavige and company have tried to... David Miscavige said in legal affidavits, and two in the cases in the 1990s, that the GO was, this criminal organization, blah, 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 and it was disbanded, and now the wonderful organization set up by David Miscavige has taken over, and everything is wonderful, and there's no evil being done now or whatever. Well, let's put this in context to give some background. I was the legal branch 1 director of the Guardian's Office Worldwide, which meant I was in charge of all legal matters outside of the courts for Scientology. Right. And so I worked at the worldwide headquarters. I'm very familiar with the running of the Guardian's office, as well as being I was the first WDC member over OSA and Special Unit in that. So I'm familiar with how OSA was run. Right. Now, the difference between the two is the GO was made up of Bureau 1, that was Intel. The term B1 comes from Bureau 1. Oh, okay. B2 was PR. Okay. B3, Bureau 3, was legal. B4 was finance. And then B6 was social coordination. Social coordination being over the Narcanons, Scholastics, that sort of stuff, right?
They had those in the Guardian's office?
Yeah, the Guardian's office was the one that ran those groups.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought those
the
groups
Guardian's
came
office,
after.
No. The Guardian's office ran those groups.
Okay.
And they ran them, back earlier into the 70s. They ran those groups.
Wow.
And through social coordination.
And that was on the 5th floor, right? Of the Manor Hotel?
No, that's the Guardian's Office U.S.
Okay.
I'm talking about Guardian's Office Worldwide. That was at St. Hill Manor in East Grinstead in England.
Oh,
so
wow.
That was LRH's old house.
Okay.
There's a picture on my blog spot, larrybren.blogspot.com. And if you scroll down to the last picture on the blog spot, there's a picture of myself and my then wife outside this stately manor. And that was LRH's old home in St. Hill in East Grinstead, Sussex. And that at the time was the headquarters of the Guardian's Office Worldwide.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, the difference now. So that was how the GO was made up. And the GO, the way Hubbard wrote up things for the GO, and Hubbard was the one running it. I mean, for every order there was from Mary Sue, there was probably 300 from LRH. In fact, we had after the FBI raids in '77, we had about a month and a half of 150 people just vetting out Hubbard's orders and compliances to say.
And explain what vetting out means.
Vetting out means cutting out Hubbard's name from files and orders, removing whole documents from Hubbard where he wrote a program for the Guardian's office.
Okay, so literally it looks like he didn't have anything to do with
Correct.
It. When, in fact.
And they changed Mary Sue's position from the Commodore Staff Guardian, which showed he was the Commodore, so therefore she's his staff, to controller to make it imply that she controlled things.
Right.
Just a name change. But anyway, with the GO, when the GO was disbanded and taken over in 1981, OSA came after that. Into 82, the GO formally became OSA. It was run by Special Unit in the Commodore's Messenger Organization, the then GO was. And then it became renamed as OSA. But what stayed in OSA was Intel, Legal, and PR. Social coordination went out from underneath OSA, became another Sea Org unit, which then became ABLE.
Oh, right.
And finance came out of the GO and became the International Financial Police.
Oh, yeah.
And then Special Unit handled those major parts of external affairs, intel, litigation, corporate, PR, and then had a special area that managed OSA, well, the GO, and then it changed its name to OSA. But DM, David Miscavige, in his affidavits in the court cases said, about how it became so much more wonderful when OSA took over. It was way worse. Like, for example...
Really?
Yeah.
Worse than the Guardian's office?
Oh, way worse. The Guardian's office was horrible in the sense of Paulette Cooper and stuff they did like that and the infiltration of the U.S. government. But that was B1. Right. Most people in the Guardian's office didn't know about that stuff.
Okay.
What happened is, more in 1982, which is the first year under David Miscavige rather than the GO,
right.
More people were gangbang sex-checked, declared, beaten, abused.
Which is real abusive stuff, gangbang sex checks.
Yeah, those are where groups of people are screaming at you on a lie detector to confess a bunch of crimes that don't exist.
Right.
More happened in that year than in the entire 15 years of the GO.
Wow.
And that was under David Miscavige.
Now that I didn't know.
And more money was funneled to Hubbard. Like in those 15 years of the GO, there was L. Ron Hubbard accounts. That was a department that wasn't in the GO that used to take $1 million here or there to Hubbard. Well, in the first year under Miscavige, 1982, the first full year, over $40 million of church money was taken and sent to L. Ron Hubbard through David Miscavige.
What your money buys. See you guys lurking.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, it became far more abusive.
Okay, that's good to know. Because they really have that tilted the other way.
Yeah, there were horrible things in the GO.
Okay.
But I will tell you something. For 5 years, I was at the headquarters of GO Worldwide. And as it relates to your own staff at GO Worldwide, it was a pretty big deal when somebody was doing a lower ethics condition.
Right. Like
if they were wearing a dirty gray rag and liability or doubt or something with an orange rag. That was kind of a big deal. Whereas under Miscavige, you have a whole SP hall where people are imprisoned, rehabilitation project courses where people in it for years.
Right.
There were none under the GL.
True.
So there were horrible things under the GL, particularly in the Intel B1 part. But it was way worse under Miscavige across the sectors.
That makes sense.
All you'd have to do, if you want to Google Don Larson from the International Financial Place with a BBC interview he did in the early 80s, I think, or in later 80s, he confesses to how much he used to abuse people and extort people to give money under Miscavige. So the point is, it did change.
Right.
It just got worse.
Okay, well, thank you so much for explaining that. I mean, to me, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, I think.
I know. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that. I know for a lot of you, some of the terms are tricky, but I'm going to put some links in it where Larry goes into it much longer, or maybe your blog. We'll put that.
Yeah, larrybrenn.blogspot.com.
Okay.
It has most of that stuff in there.
Well, thank you so much.
I
really appreciate it.
And it was so good to come here and see my two sisters here, Tori and Nancy Maney. I got to see over the last 2 days, so I'm very happy to have accomplished my goal in coming here. One of my major goals.
We really had a good time. All right. Well, for all of you, I hope you enjoyed it. I love you all. I love you.
And I love you too.
Peace out.